Good afternoon, everybody. It is Transformation Tuesday. This is Kit Holmes. It is Tuesday. It is the 20th of October, 2020. And I'm doing part two today. Last week I talked about the power of water, and this is a continuation or a going deeper, as it were, today. It's a metaphor that we can use for so many things in our lives, and today I'm going to move it into, into our spiritual practice. When we talk about the shape of water, we talk about how malleable it is. We know how malleable it is. If you look at, after it rains, certain puddles and sizes and shapes, and anything that you put liquids into, any kind of a drinking vessel that you might use to put your water into, the water will take the shape of its frame. And Taddy is doing my work with me today. So welcome, Taddy. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. Sorry if it scared you. Water will take the shape of its container. And when we are working with spiritual law, our part in the process of manifestation is to create the shape of the container. Meaning, when we think about the things that we desire in our lives, whether it's a job or a relationship or our financial status or our financial well-being, our health, those sorts of things, we can put our thoughts, our creative thoughts with the feelings behind them, into a certain shape. And the shape can be one of fear or it can be one of faith. It can be one of the things that we love or the things that we dislike or would not prefer to experience in our lives. We have that thing called free will where we get to create the shape of the container. That's the good news. The not so good news, and probably the most challenging part for many of us, is recognizing that the thoughts that are running around, sometimes running rampant in our subconscious, are also creating a container for the law to say, okay, cool, this is what you want, here you go. So our work in this world to create that life of joy and expansiveness, of knowing that we are abundantly supplied, that we are unconditionally loved, that we are in harmonious relationships, and all of those things that we know or we say we would love to experience, it is our work to make sure that our thoughts are corresponding to that which we would love. So, remember that metaphor of water. Remember that it will take the shape of its container. Your mind, your thoughts, and the feelings behind them create that container. So, create the good stuff. And if you recognize, this is the other part of the practice, if you recognize that you have a do loop going on in your head about some things in the world, your experiences of the world that you don't care for, you don't like them, start doing the work to pay attention to those thoughts, start creating a new container, because the law will come in, rush in, fill it up, and say, okay, here you go. Just a note about that law. If you're new to this idea of spiritual law, responding to the thoughts and the shape of the thought we give it, it doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care about your history. It doesn't care about how big you are, how small you are, how old you are, how healthy or not. It will take the shape of the form that you give it in mind. I'm standing in front of this painting today because it's one of my favorites, an artist out of Austin, and her name just completely escaped me. But if you Google her, you can probably find her series on robots in rowboats. And I came across this painting in particular, and you will see the robot in a rowboat with its friend, the octopus, and they are stargazing out on the ocean. The octopus holds a very special place in my life, and recognize that that is also a very intelligent and interesting creature in our world that can shift its shape and take the form of its container. Another thing to think about. It lives in the water, by the way, too. So, watch your thoughts. Create what you like in thought and in feeling. Pay attention to the ones that may be creating things you don't want to experience. I love you dearly. I will see you again next week. Transformation Tuesday. Bye.